previously you spoke about it, police departments needing more investigators, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is up with unsolved murders?
Ha. People not snitching. People not snitching. You know, we know on average, the average person is killed by a person they know, right?
Especially now, these young boys, wow, they
They're
really killing their
wild,
friends.
man.
Yeah.
They're wild. A lot of these kids are taking lives. We're talking, I mean, I've seen the youngest age, like 10. You know, it's bad. It's really bad. So there's a lot of unsolved murders to be expected, depending on what community, what demographic you're looking at. If we're speaking on our community, the Black community, we have a culture within our community where they don't cooperate with the police. Believe it or not, everybody ends up cooperating with the police. You know, once they're identified and they make it back into that office, they're talking. You know.
I've heard that numerous times
Yeah.
right? So I know that, but it's the when you're not actually being interrogated now, they don't seem to talk.
No, because if you think you can get away with it, you know, and in case in point, we have serial killers in our community. And though they don't fit the narrative, you know, like the weird guy who's, you know, looking through people's window. No, we have guys who are actually killing multiple people within a year and getting away with it.
You know, it's wild. When I grew up around West Indian people.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually praised and glorified because
Yes.
they used to praise people that had a lot of bodies, or they'll tell you this person killed a lot of people.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, make it make sense.
Yeah.
You have, I saw a clip the other day, I think it was like King Von's birthday or something like that, or something that came up, and you know, under the comments under the video, people were like, oh, you know, we miss him, and you know, oh, you know, hope he's in heaven. I'm like, you hope he's in heaven?
Psychopath.
The
Bro.
brother was a killer. You know, he was a serial killer. Again, one that's been glorified and put up on a pedestal in our community. This guy is someone that people wanted to aspire to be. Like, this is a problem, right? And these are the type of things that need to be addressed. So we have this thing in our community where we put these drug dealers, we put these bona fide criminals up on a pedestal. In a sense, they're worshipped. And then we wonder why people want to emulate their behavior.
And you know, it's wild, man. We're groomed to do so because it wasn't until I started to like learn myself and just kind of, you know, understand the system that I saw how backwards it was to praise a drug dealer. Like, this person causes so much destruction and
Yep.
pain.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's praised.
Yeah. Think about it. Because in our community, we have this insatiable appetite to want to emulate what we believe to be as masculine as men, what we believe to be as powerful. But we're conditioned through media, through social media, through these movies. You know, people ask me all the time, oh, you watch Power, you watch Snowfall. And because I actually lived the life of apprehending guys who did this for a living, I see the destruction, I see the chaos. I don't take joy in watching those things. And what people don't realize is when we talk about Black people interacting with other ethnic groups within this country, and we wonder why people are uncomfortable around us, when the majority of our media showcases us committing violence, committing acts of terror amongst each other, and things of that nature. The media and the news putting out, you know, constantly putting out videos of things that we do. And they don't put out their business, but they put out our business all the time. And we wonder why people have a...
And we put out our own business all the time.
We put out our own. Remember when, what was it, World Star started popping off?
Crazy, man.
It was crazy. And you had people, and it's not to say white people or Asians, Hispanic, they don't do these things. They do them, but they don't promote it. They don't glorify it. They don't acknowledge it or as being acceptable behavior, right? They don't condone it. In our community, these things are condoned. It's like, oh, how many bodies you got? Oh, you just getting out of prison? Let's celebrate, you know, type of thing. And it's disappointing. But what ends up happening is ultimately we end up damaging our own image. And we have to take back control over our image and how we're viewed as people, as individuals, because at the end of the day, people judge us by it.
Facts. And I just wanted to go back to this unsolved murder thing.
Okay,
right?
go ahead.
So what is it like, is it just you can't, obviously you can't move forward with a case if no one's getting information.
Correct.
So that's like the main problem.
Correct. So there's a couple things. Technology's changing. You have people getting picked up and arrested on cases on crimes that occurred 10, 15, 20 years ago. Recently, there was a sexual assault rape case out in, I think, Maine, up north from here. And he was a serial, he was taking multiple women. He left DNA at the scene, but he never committed any crime. He was never caught. So the DNA is just out there lingering around. Well, they have this technology now where they use, shout out to those who used 23andMe or Ancestry.com. I don't know why you guys gave them people your DNA. Well, what people don't know in policing as an investigator, I have access to all of that. I can tap into your phone, I can tap into your computer. I can backdoor and get all access to all those things with just a little subpoena. It's not a problem. Well, they're going to these companies that have your DNA stored up, and they're subpoenaing the records and saying, hey, I forgot the term that they use, but they're taking the DNA, they're submitting it to Ancestry.com or whatever, 23andMe, and they're matching, they're trying to find a biological match with maybe like a family member. Yeah. So they narrow down, so in this actual sexual assault case, they submitted the DNA. That suspect never submitted his DNA, but one of his family members did. And so what they ended up doing was actually finding the DNA of one of his siblings. And then they narrowed it down, and you do a little bit of groundwork. Next thing you know, they found the suspect. He's an attorney now out up north. Picked him up. He has a family, married, everything, and he had these cases on him. And so there are ways that these crimes are being solved, and you have people who are getting out of these convictions because of DNA testing and other technology that they're using to exonerate people. They find out that, hey, that wasn't me, and here's a DNA test, and then they're kind of matching stuff up. So
how deep can they go in regards to? Because I don't think people understand. Mm-hmm. Can you explain how deep police can go in regards to your phone, in regards to your computer?
Yeah, so it's so bad. I mean, and, just me sharing, just to kind of educate people, not to tell people so they can commit crime, but the idea is you've given the government everything already. By the time you're hearing this, it's too late, right? You gave us your thumbprint on your iPhone. You gave us your face on your iPhone. All those things we have access to. Everything you put on social media, it doesn't matter. We can still get access to it. I just finished working a case not too long ago with a guy putting a lot of information on social media. I worked a case where a suspect was doing a home invasion. Ended up chasing after him. I got his phone. I went into his phone, got access into his phone, and he had pictures of him holding a pistol, taking pictures with the pistol, blah, blah, blah. So then I'm like, okay, where'd he get this gun from? He's a convicted felon. I zoomed in on the picture and actually looked at the serial number, ran the serial number from the photo he took, found out the gun was stolen and the gun was taken from another crime in another city, charged him for that, and it went through perfectly. And so we use social media and all these things. Like, the moment you put that stuff out there, it doesn't go away. The moment you put that stuff on your phone, it never goes away. Unless you burn and incinerate the phone, and even then, these stuff is in the cloud we still have access to. So
how far back can you go? Because I've been hearing cases with people been pulling up stuff. So I'm like, are they like listening to conversations? Because I know they get the text message. Mm-hmm. I know they get all your web travel and all that. Pictures, obviously. But like, where are you guys getting these recorded Are they recording their conversations? Where are you getting the recorded conversations from? So where the phone's not tapped?
Well, it depends. We can tap a phone. It's not hard. People don't understand, like, anything that has the internet is tappable. Anything that has Bluetooth is tappable. So I always tell people, don't do the crime. If you're not prepared for the punishment, just don't even do it, because there's always a way for us to get access. Think about the technology that they release now for the civilian class to have, like the Apple tracker or whatever. We've been had those things, right? Those things, that's old. Think about this. By the time the civilian class gets a lot of this technology, we've already advanced 7 times ahead. Back in 2010, I remember I was part of a special operations unit. We did there was this major gang. I won't say the name just for obvious reasons, but there's a major gang out in Atlanta. They're actually an up north gang. and big time dope group or whatever. And we were hitting all their stash houses, and we were actually partnering with the ATF and the DEA. And my unit was out with the DEA, and we're hitting one of the stash houses. They had a device. This is old. They have something better now. You know, I can share it now because they got something better. But they had a device they could put up in the door, sends out an echolocation through the door. You can see how many people are actually inside. So that way, when you go in and you infiltrate inside, you already know where people are, and it's for safety reasons. But you know, seeing that type of technology and then seeing what we have and use now, the cameras that they put up everywhere, the facial recognition, I don't think people realize, right? When they went to this 5G situation, you know, not to throw too much out, but all that was to connect all this massive technology in order to spy on the people, essentially.
So criminals that don't get caught though, because you have a lot of criminals, is it because they have a link or is it that they're that good?
No, sometimes when you put it, have you noticed how the media is pressured? There's a lot of pressure put on a particular crime. They get caught, right? Some people just don't care, right? Like it's political a lot of times.